Hello, and thank you for coming to listen to me today. I'm Tom Riley, the fund manager of the Robotech strategy. I'm going to be giving an update on the investment opportunity in robotics and automation and explain why we are particularly excited about how the developments in artificial intelligence are expected to accelerate the growth rate of the industry in the coming years. We have been running this strategy for 10 years now, and at this moment in time, I think it's fair to say that this is the period of greatest technology innovation, opportunity, and excitement. I'm particularly excited to have many of you today to join me on a tour of the IREX exhibition, where you will get to see some of the companies and some of the products that are changing the world. Attending trade shows like this is an important part of the investment process for me, and it allows me to see new technologies as they're being brought to the market for the first time. For those who are not participating in the tour, I highly recommend you also visit the venue if possible. There are very few investors at events like this. This is a show principally for industrial buyers, so as investors, it really does give some very unique perspectives, and I hope in this event you get to have a look at the future and to share some of the excitement. Now I want to outline why we are focusing on the opportunity for robotics and automation and why we believe it will be a key driver of economic growth going forward. We see a great opportunity here due to an intersection of two strong structural drivers. First, demographic trends support automation adoption, with aging populations and shrinking workforces in many economies support a very clear need for automation. Second, technology innovation has always expanded the range of fields where automation is possible. And now AI has emerged. The introduction of greater amounts of intelligence broadens the use case for robotics. Over the coming years, we will see robots in many new areas and increasingly in our day-to-day lives. As we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the strategy, I want to reflect on some of the differences today versus 10 years ago. This shows that a lot has changed over the last decade, and I believe that even more will change over the coming decade. So if we look at robots are becoming more affordable as labor costs increase and working population shrinks in many countries. Increasing sophistication means robotics can be adopted by more industries, outside of traditional areas like automotive and aerospace. You can see here the number of industrial robots has almost tripled over the last decade, and we expect this to continue to grow strongly. And warehouse logistics. Automation increases the speed and accuracy of moving products around the global economy. As e-commerce penetration grows, demand for automated warehouses increases and becomes more important as customers expect quicker delivery. A decade ago, Amazon was heavily reliant on humans in their warehouses. They only had around 30,000 Kiva robots. Amazon has recently announced that they have more than 1 million robots working in their facilities. Autonomous vehicles. Advances in artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and software continues to aid the development of both advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, and autonomous vehicles, where significant advances have been made in recent years. In 2015, Waymo had driven circa 1 million autonomous miles within very small, specially designated regions. Increasingly, Waymo is being launched in new cities as a robo-taxi service and now has done more than 100 million miles. In healthcare, robotic surgery and digital healthcare incorporate new technologies to help drive efficiency in the sector. The incorporation of AI in robotic surgery supports new product cycles, improves patient outcomes with greater precision, and enhances surgical skills with real-time feedback. A decade ago, robot-assisted surgery was quite rare and only approved for a few different operations. It is now becoming more broadly adopted, with almost 3 million surgical procedures in 2025. That said, only about 3% of total global surgeries are done by robotics, so we see room for this to continue to expand significantly. As we look towards the next decade, we believe that AI innovation will be a catalyst for further growth in automation trends. Indeed, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, has said, the ChatGPT moment in general robotics is just around the corner, and the next frontier of AI is physical AI. Currently, the majority of excitement with AI has been around generative AI, with tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT or Google's Gemini being used to generate responses to queries. The next evolution of AI is embedding this intelligence into physical objects. This can be cars for fully autonomous vehicles, autonomous drones for parcel delivery, intelligent robotics for manufacturing. This intelligence, combined with the ability to move, creates a huge range of opportunities and massively increases the capability and flexibility of robotics. I want to spend a bit of time talking about how we do our company research and what we look for in our investments. The investment team of the Robotech strategy pride themselves on having long experience and specialist investment insights into robotics and automation technologies. Investing at the cutting edge of innovation requires specialist skill sets and also discipline to try to distinguish between genuine innovations and potential areas of hype. Our specialist knowledge in the space gives us the comfort and the ability to invest in small and medium-sized companies that are often unknown by most investors and therefore would not appear in the majority of investment funds. Investing in new technologies and emerging opportunities can be very rewarding for investors, but with that often comes additional uncertainty and more volatility. We have to be humble and recognize that not every investment we make will materialize in the way we expect, and sometimes new technologies disappoint, and therefore risk management and appropriately sizing our positions is important. One way to try to mitigate risk when investing in new technologies is spending a lot of time trying to assess the commercial viability of new products. We often visit trade shows and attend specialist industry conferences, which allow us to see innovations, talk to companies, and talk to the customers of those companies to try to assess the opportunities. This can give us some unique insights to where new technologies are in their adoption cycle and understand better the competitive differentiation between companies. To help to do this, we travel the world doing a lot of site visits to visit factories and warehouses to see these automation technologies in operation. Here we can speak to the people running the factories to discuss what works well, where their processes are currently struggling and they're looking for improvements, and what kind of technologies they are evaluating for future use. A vital part of the investment process is to recognize that not every good innovation is a good investment opportunity. We need to be comfortable that the companies are able to make money out of their innovations. We seek out companies that have strong long-term revenue and earnings growth. We want to understand the market positioning that the products have, where they sit in the value chain, and the company's ability to grow profitably going forward with pricing power and with cost control. One of the areas we're seeing a lot of investor interest at the moment is in humanoid robots. In areas of labor scarcity, it is thought that humanoid robots are the ideal solution, as they can be very closely replicate and do what a human can flexibly. Identifying the winners, particularly in new technologies, can be difficult. And there are many startups at the moment that are trying to develop humanoid robots. It is likely that the majority of them will fail and never become profitable. These types of investments are often too risky for us at the moment. We would prefer to wait as we try to assess, we try to invest in companies where we have the comfort that they have market-leading technologies, are growing revenues quickly, and are seeing increasing profitability. We therefore see more opportunities at the moment in the companies that are supplying components and technologies to the humanoid market. These are companies that are typically already well established and will already be successfully selling their products into other end markets. They would also have a proven ability to successfully scale and show profitability. The component suppliers will not be tied just to the success of one humanoid robotic company, and instead would typically supply many of the human robotic companies. This diversification can mean that they will benefit from the overall industry growth rather than being tied to the success or failure of one individual company. At this stage, interesting areas for investors to look at can be the high value-added parts of the humanoid supply chain. In areas like cameras and vision systems that allow the robot to sense what is around them, precision motors that are used to control the robot, as well as the analog semiconductors that are inside a robot. We believe that the robotics and automation industry is undergoing unprecedented changes now. The power of structural drivers of aging populations and labor scarcity will continue to support the sector, with the opportunity of physical AI creating new opportunities and disrupting many industries. We remain hugely excited about the potential for the industry and are looking forward to participating in its development.